So I don't know if it's me, but I am basically over this season already for Housewives. I am getting tired of the storylines. There is no huge developments. There may be changes on this cast strip, but I am literally just over the entire season already. I just want to reach the reunion. We can wrap these storylines up and then we can see potentially what goes on for season 17. Because every scene that I'm seeing, I do a big sigh. Like, I don't know what more to expect from the remaining of the season. I really feel like Phaedra was not really needed because so far it's not like she's really adding to any of the stories or she is taking away from any of the stories. Like she's just there. And I don't know what to expect for the remaining of the season. I'm just more anticipating to see what is the other follow between Porsha and Shamia, and also the follow between Britt and Kelly. I'm totally fine with everything else because it's like the same recurring arguments, same recurring conversations we keep having each episode, and I'm over it. Now, of course, we saw where the ladies were getting prepared for Grenada, and we saw where we had Shamia and then Kelly. They were making care packages for to carry to Grenada because apparently Grenada, not necessarily where they were going, but the smaller parts or so. Basically, there was a hurricane, and they basically said they were going to carry stuff to help out, which is a good gesture. Now, of course, the ladies are all packing. Each ladies basically had their confessional where they were stating what they will be given, and of course, then we just had Brits come in with some empty box with tissues, and Brits, I'm gonna have a conversation with you. You see, if you're not about that life, you don't have it, you know you're just within a certain tax bracket, own it. Stop pretending and flaunting as if like you're some big shot, you have your money, you are just some big queen bee in this Atlanta space. Stop pretending. We saw it when you were purchasing a car that you weren't buying. So you were just doing it for camera to show as if like you have money. Then we saw where you had your weird ass events where now we are seeing blog posts where you're saying that you have allegedly not finished paying your bill, and the same country club that you pretend as if like you were frequent visitor, frequent customer, whatever there. We're seeing allegedly where your husband was basically sued because again you guys did not pay your bill. And we are seeing it in next week's episode when I guess Shamir is going to be calling you out for that same thrifty lifestyle that you're trying to give off. But we already, that same thrifty lifestyle that you basically have, but then you're trying to portray to the audience as if like you are that girl. And I don't think you are that girl, and you need to stop pretending as if you're that girl because we are seeing it that you're just not that girl. I'm just tired of her excuses as to why she basically is not living up to the housewives energy of it all. It's always an excuse. Kenya is not there anymore. You can't blame Kenya, but no, you're still trying to make it seem like because of what she did, now your license is on hold, and maybe that's maybe why no money is whatever coming in or whatever it is. I don't know. It's like I'm getting tired of your excuses. It does not match up to what you're trying to portray, and I'm just over it. Now, of course, we saw the ladies, they were all getting ready to go to Grenada, and they all arrived at the airport, and they arrived in Grenada. Of course, Shamia's bag was basically not did not make it onto the flight, so it was still in Atlanta. So she only thing she has right now is a carry-on. And I don't know if it's me, but when I'm traveling, I ensure that also like my like underwear and certain clothing item is always in my carry-on because at least that's something I will always have. So just in case that your bag does not make it to the final destination, no pun intended, it's basically you have some sort of clothing to still wear until whenever the airline decides to send your bag. And I think with that happening, luckily she had something to wear to the dinner. But I think for stuff like that, I don't know exactly what females or what she's particularly packed in a carry-on. But I think sometimes it's nice when you pack certain clothing items as well in your carry-on, and shoes, if possible. So at least if God forbid your bag does not reach the destination, then at least you still have something to wear and change off into and not feel like you're stuck in literally what you wore to the airport. But they reached to their house. Everybody was paired off. We had Porsha and I think Porsha and Angela had their own. They got their basically will be sharing. We had Cynthia and Drew. We had Britt and Phaedra. And of course, we had Kelly and Shamia, who basically they're the hosts of the trip. They will be staying in a place together. And I think, am I forgetting anybody else? Don't think I am. But yeah, so they all paired off and they pretty much went and I guess this trip, the agenda for the trip is, I believe for chapter 1, it would be renewal. And of course, they would basically, yeah, so basically it would be renewal. So I guess they were trying to renew each person's friendship. Now, before we even got into the trip, we got the sit down between Porsha and Drew. And we're now on episode 13, and we're just getting the sit down when in episode 1 is when these ladies got into it. And allegedly, it seems like Porsha was the one who was holding out on this one-on-one sit down because Drew kept on wanting to have the conversation, but she kept dragging it on because, of course, Porsha does not have anything going on for her this season. So if she cleared this issue up early on in the season, then she has nothing else to talk about or anything to get into. So she dragged this shit on. Now, while I was watching the scene, we saw where Porsha claimed that Drew is dating this guy called Black. And then, of course, we saw where Drew also allegedly said that Porsha is dating or was dating or is dating or whatever it is, Future. Now, in the preview, they stated the name, but then in the episode, they bleeped out the name. Don't understand the reason for that. Thoughts on this scene? It's typical Porsha. Running away from a conversation, acting like she's above any of these arguments that happen. And for her to just sit there and then she's turning around and say that Drew is coming off very combative or defensive or aggressive. I was watching it and I was saying to myself, like, what show are we watching? Because at this point, I'm not getting that from Drew. Drew is just not sitting there to have you gaslight her and tell her bullshit for you to feel better about yourself, that you then get up from the table and act as if like you had no wrong in the situation and she was just the only party to be blamed. Because from what I'm watching, she did state that she had a convo, or Dennis had a convo with you prior, and you still felt like you needed to make this thing an issue. Drew wasn't the one who made this thing an issue because she came into the first episode of the season and she was totally fine. She didn't come in acting as if like you two have a beef. So I was trying to understand, what show is it that we are watching when you were saying that she was being very dismissive or she's being very combative, and I wasn't getting that. And this is the thing with Porsha, like she wants to say what she wants to say, and then when she's getting the truth handed to her, she really wants to get up and leave. And it was the same thing I got from the scene. She did it with Shamia when Shamia was sharing what she wanted to share. She put on her fake tears and went to the bathroom and then came back and then basically tried to discontinue the conversation. And it's the same thing she did with Drew. Drew started telling her stuff because she really thought that Drew was going to sit there and have her punk her. And she got the same treatment, and then she got up and left as well. And this is the thing with Porsha. She just never wants to own up to her wrong. And I'm getting tired of it. Like, I'm tired of this whole beef. I'm tired of the whole entire the whole argument of it all. I'm tired of the same thing from her that she just gets up and leave. Like, I'm just overly tired of it, and I'm sure the audience is as well is tired of it. And I'm kind of glad that they had their little conversation at the dinner, and hopefully we can put this thing to rest, because I don't know why we're on the 13th episode, almost closing the season, and this is still a continue. This should have been wrapped up on the first half of the season. Shouldn't be going over into the second half. But don't know who's producing the show. I don't know who's making Porsha get away with running away from a conversation until whenever it's on her terms. But I was just literally over it. We got to where we saw the girls arrived in whatever, and they were going for their dinner. And at the table, we had Kelly. And Kelly, I love you, but sometimes I feel like I don't know what beef you have with Drew. I don't know if you're taking this on for everybody else. But you keep, even when you made that statement at the table that everyone at the table has an issue with Drew, I was literally saying to myself, what issue? Because I know she has an issue with Porsha and Shamia. I don't remember what issue she has with Brits because they did meet up and have a drinks and I think they were okay. She has no issues with Angela. To my concern, she has no issues with you, Kelly. So I don't know what this statement was about that she has an issue at the table with everyone except Cynthia. So unless these ladies are saying things behind her back that she's not aware of, but I was just as confused with it just as Drew was when she made that statement. And I think it was just, the dinner was just the plan to pile on to Drew because, of course, there's no really other issues going on this season. So let's just pile up on Drew. And Drew handled herself. And, of course, Shamia, if you don't want to be called a lapdog, just don't be a lapdog. Simple as that. If you don't want to be called a lapdog, do not be a lapdog. And how you move and how you carry yourself gives off lapdog behavior. Because even the situation when Porsha finally jumped in and said that she had conversations with Shamia and they are good, whatever the case is. And you were like, oh my God, this is the first time Porsha has ever really stick up for me. I was really proud and whatever. And I was like, that little thing makes you so proud. Like every other pile-on that they were doing at the table and saying to you, she said nothing. And the one moment they directed the question to her and she decided to defend you, that made you so proud. And it was really troubling to me when I heard she said that, because I was like, it really take you that little small thing for you to feel good about the friendship. I'm really worried about you. I just feel like, Shamia, it is what it is. You are a loyal friend, and sometimes being a loyal friend and the way you move will be categorized as being a lapdog. There's nothing wrong with it. Just own it. Move on so these ladies cannot find it as a weakness that they can use against you. And clearly it's a weakness because you have been getting this title from years and you're still bothered by the situation, but yet your actions still come off as if that you are a lapdog when it comes on to Porsha Williams. I don't know. I honestly don't know. And then Brit, again, trying to find some camera time because she has nothing as well going on for herself. Decided to make this be the moment when she says to Phaedra and was like, so Mike was the one who invited Apollo and his wife, whatever the case, but they did not show up, and I just wanted to let you know so you don't feel like it, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, girl, just as everybody said, read the room. No one is talking about that. I feel like you're trying to get ahead of it because you really don't want Phaedra to be you and Phaedra in a beef, because trust me, it won't end well because you clearly can't read or do anything. But it was just so out of the ordinary and for no reason. That could have been a side conversation off camera with her. I don't think you needed to say this thing on camera to her. Or even just at that moment that needed to come up. And it was just so awkward. And I was like, you're just always trying to fish for some sort of attention. And it clearly shows. And it's clearly getting annoying at this point. I'm just over it. But this was the episode, guys. We're going down to the ending of the episode. I think this week they're supposed to be, I think Friday, they should be filming the reunion. I can't wait for this season to be over with. I hope they don't bring Britt back next season. The rest of the ladies, they can stay. Let's see what else they come with. I'm pretty sure, I'm praying that Kenya does come back and get rid of Britt, because she's not bringing anything to the show. I don't know whose smart idea it was to keep her around, thinking that she would be bringing something to this season. And for the other bloggers who feel as if like she's now that girl, I don't see it for her. And most people really don't see it for her. So I really hope that Bravo people realize that no one is interested in seeing Brit on their screen anymore. But that was the episode, guys. Let me know in the comment section what your thoughts were on the episode. Remember, guys, to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the video, or to the channel, I should say. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, y'all.